This is the last lecture relating to regionalism and national integration. So, we would like to conclude our second series relating to regionalism and national integration. So, in this context, in this lecture, we will discuss those positive impacts of regionalism in the very forms of decentralized governance. New regional parties focus on regional problems, cultural expression, healthy competition among the states, linguistic diversity, and economic development. So, also, we'll discuss those negative impacts of regionalism on national integration and as the secessionist movement and those interstate conflicts, political fragmentation, and bargaining of federalism, resource allocation conflicts, and effects on international relation. And further, we will discuss is regionalism a threat to national integration. In that context, we would like to discuss coexistence and development, then decentralization of power, federal democratic system, and national solidarity, and finally regarding promotion of national integrity. And in that context, we would discuss about the Northeastern Council, then the role of Niti Aayog and Interstate Council, then the GST Council, and regarding those positive impacts of regionalism as we found decentralized governance due to creation of smaller states. For example, the creation of smaller states like Telangana and Uttarakhand required the establishment of new administrative structures to govern these regions effectively. And as regarding another positive impacts, that is emergence of new regional political parties, the rise of new regional political parties such as the Telugu Desam Party, the Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, the Biju Janata Dal in Odisha, driven by regionalism, advocating for separate regions or states, than the focus on specific regional problems. The formation of regional parties provides an opportunity to address and prioritize region specific issues and challenges. As for example, the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra emerged to address the concerns of Marathi speaking people, particularly related to job opportunities and cultural preservation. Another positive impact we found healthy competition among the states. Regionalism often encourages a sense of competition for growth among different states and cultural expression, which another impact in positive nature, where celebration and preservation of distinct cultural traditions, language, and practices enriching the national tapestry. For example, the festivals like Durga Puja in West Bengal, Pongal in Tamil Nadu, Onam in Kerala, and Baisakhi in Punjab. Further, linguistic diversity in India's linguistic variety is a testament to its regional diversity, with each state often having its own official language and literary heritage. For example, states like Karnataka, Maharashtra, and West Bengal promote Kannada, Marathi, and Bengali languages respectively. further economic development as an positive impacts of regionalism. As states prioritize industries and policies that align with their unique resources and needs. As for example, Gujarat focus on industrialization and Maharashtra's emphasis on financial services reflect regional economic strategies. And among those negative impacts of regionalism, we found undermining national unity. So regionalism can undermine national integration as loyalty and allegiance to a specific region may overshadow loyalty to the nation. So people residing in multiple states working towards promoting regional autonomy and local agendas. It suggests that a larger state with common interest has higher chances of success than smaller states. As for example, the northeastern states in India, so also secessionist movements, extreme forms of regionalism can lead to demands for autonomy or secession, threatening the integrity of the nation. As for example, the Khalistan movement in Punjab and separatist demand in Jammu and Kashmir. And as a negative impact in interstate conflicts, regionalism can lead to disputes between states over resources, boundaries, and political dominance. As for example, the Kaveri water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So also political fragmentation. Another negative impact of regionalism, the coalition government led by the United Progressive Alliance often had to balance regional party interests. As for example, the Trinamool Congress stand on Tista water dispute with Bangladesh. Further economic disparities, regionalism can exacerbate economic inequalities between states with more developed regions, advancing faster than less developed ones. As for example, the economic gap between states like Maharashtra and all those northeastern states. And as regarding political fragmentation, rise of bargaining federalism, another negative impact. As such, regional parties sometimes leverage their position to extract concession from the central government, leading to fragmented policy decisions. Also, we found another important negative impact is regarding funding imbalances, disparities in resource allocation, and dependency on central government transfers lead to financial instability in states. As for examples, Kerala's recent case in Supreme Court against Centre on net ceiling limit. So also resource allocation conflicts as another negative impact. Conflict over resources like water and boundaries persist, challenging regional harmony. As for example, ongoing Kaveri water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, the Mahanadi water dispute between Chhattisgarh and Odisha, social, cultural, and linguistic tensions. Another negative impact that we found as such recognition of regional identities sometimes lead to exclusionary practices and tensions. As for example, language-based movements marginalize native speakers in states like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, etc. Further, regionalism has an negative impact on effect on international relations evident in issues like Tamil Nadu's concern with Sri Lanka and West Bengal's disputes with Bangladesh over the sharing of this river water. And now we would like to consider whether it is a threat to national integration. So coexistence and development, regionalism and national integration can coexist, emphasizing development. Other federal and democratic system, a federal and democratic political system reconciles regionalism and national integration, further preserving national solidarity. Regionalism, when managed well, does not disrupt national unity and solidarity. It further strengthening federalism. Regionalism enhances federalism through equal regional partnership. Also, decentralization of power. Regionalism reduces centralization, empowering the states and the efforts took by the government in India regarding promoting national integrity. So the Northeastern Council, it was set up in 1971 to provide a forum for interstate coordination, regional planning and integrated development of the region to avoid intra-regional disparities. So also this comes to promote nationalism like Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat have been launched to promote the country's cultural diversity and increase inhabitants' feelings of national togetherness. The State Reorganization Act of 1956, creating zonal council to promote the interest of different geographical zones. Also, federal institutions like the new institutional structures like Niti Aayog have been established to ensure federal equilibrium. Also, Interstate Council has established to make the Interstate Council Secretariat a thriving institution that supports coordination and cooperation between center and states in India and to promote national integrity. Part of the GST, the Goods and Service Tax Council promote financial federalism and take all stakeholders on board. So, regionalism as a factor leading to national integration, and it was due to the very effort took by the central government by creating the Northeastern Council, then those schemes to promote nationalism, then the State Reorganization Act of 1956 establishing zonal councils, then those federal institutions like the Niti Aayog, the Interstate Council and the Goods Services Tax Council. So now I would like to conclude the very lecture regarding regionalism and national integration. So, the national integration efforts by the union government targeted investment which prioritize equitable development through targeted policies and investment programs in different underdeveloped regions. For example, implementing region-specific development programs and ensuring effective utilization of allocated funds. And regarding strengthening federalism, foster cooperative federalism by enhancing collaboration between central and state governments on regional issues. For example, regular and effective use of platforms like the Interstate Council and the Niti Aayog. Resolving resource conflicts, establish impartial mechanisms to mediate and resolve interstate resource disputes. For example, strengthening the role of tribunals and promoting water sharing agreements. Further, encouraging an inclusive national identity that respects and integrates regional diversity. As for example, educational and cultural programs that highlight the unity and diversity of India's heritage. So also focus on sustainable and environmentally friendly development to ensure long-term regional prosperity. For example, promoting green energy projects and sustainable agricultural practices in regional field and in particularly in regional areas by creating and furthering national unity and integrity. So also the regions under the fifth and sixth schedule of the Constitution enjoy certain autonomy which give them scope to maintain their own culture and develop according to their own need. The provisions of the PESA Act of 1996, which is specifically called as PESA Act in Panchayat's extension to the Scheduled Areas Act 1996 to extend those provisions under Part 9 of the Constitution relating to Panchayat Raj is also a step towards reconciling with the regional aspiration. Further, Article 371 has special provisions helpful in addressing concern of some states. So, we found regionalism in that context. So, to conclude our lecture, we would like to discuss some other provisions that how certain acts and actions are not considered as regionalism, such as local patriotism and loyalty to a locality or region or state and its language and culture do not constitute regionalism nor are they disruptive to the nation. They are quite consistent with national patriotism and loyalty to the nation. To have pride in one's region or state is also not regionalism. A person can be conscious of his or distinct regional identity of being a Tamil or a Punjabi, a Bengali or a Gujarati without being any the less proud of being an Indian or being hostile to people from other regions. Aspiring to or making specific efforts to develop one's state or region or to remove poverty and implement social justice. There is not to be branded as regionalism. In fact, a certain inter-regional rivalry around the achievement of such positive goals would be quite healthy. In fact, we have too little of it. So we have concluded our last lecture, and that is the third lecture on regionalism and national integration.